Okay, this is Reverend Andrew Jensen Sr. Uh, I'm getting better at this. Right now, this is my studio. My studio will always be an informal thing. There won't be any, it'll get better. It'll always be. I'm an American Bedouin. Bedouins are Muslims. Bedouins, but I'm different. I'm, I am I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I'm also a follower, but more importantly, I'm a follower of God. You understand what I'm saying? More importantly, I'm a follower of God. I'm, I'm the founder and CEO and sole proprietor of God's Living Ministry. I made a 2 hours and 21-minute video yesterday. There's a lot of background activity going on. Every time there's background activity, I still keep on playing because you got to see the condition I'm at. I'm an author. I have at least, well, I got 5 books published. One that's published by myself, printed by myself. You know, I wrote it, published it, and I printed it and sold by myself. Now I do have a publisher, Gotham Books, in Wyoming, that will be producing all my books again, the ones that have already been written, which I have 12 books already. You know, altogether there's about uh, 12 books that I've got already started, finished, made, or being edited, whatever. I try to do the best I can do editing. I'll get better in time because the only thing for the next 192 months, that's how many countries there are in the world. I'll be going to a country every month. This month, uh, in January, in July, rather. Where am I? In July, this month, I'm in America. I'll finish out next month. I'm not sure where I'm going. That's where God leads me, where I go. But I will be going. Uh, every country will give you know, I will say the majority of the countries will give me a 30-day visa to stay in each country. It'll take me the next 16 years. I'm 72 now. I'll be 88 years old when I finish. This month, to finish out this month, payday is only 9 days away for my Social Security check. And when my Social Security check gets here, my web store will be working. My web store is going to start working almost immediately. Why? Because I'm going to 192 countries. The people that I meet, the people I get, see after this month, January, Why do I keep on saying January? In July, finishing in July, I will at least be selling a book to. I tried to explain this. I'm going to try to sell somebody while I see him. My goal is to sell at least 2 books to, to as many people as I can. And that is my original 2 books. One was for $40, and the first one was for $30, and the second one's for 40. That's $70. When I get the $70 at the registry, as soon as it goes to the next website, I will immediately the receipt will be the, and also recorded in my website is the date. Yeah, $70. Now, if I can get one person every day for the next, there's 5,760 days between today and the next 16 years. If I got one person to buy 70 books for the next 16 years, you know I'm going to see what one person about sell my first 2 books of a Swordsmaster series. Now, if we get with those first 2 books, just basically is $70. When you send $70 as stated for that date, you will receive at that time 70 God's coins automatically from the store. I know that the date that you give me the $70, bought those books and that, and you got 70 God's coins. I know you'll buy more. You can buy a whole lot more. But this give me an example of taking one person. Now, God's Living Ministry so far, no one has a God's Coin account. But when the website's up, web store's up, it's one person a day sends me $70. At $70 immediately, I send to get the 2 books coming to you. They'll get to you as best they can. It'll come with a receipt. It'll be a receipt, your electronic receipt, maybe a printed receipt. I don't know how they conduct business yet. I don't know how it works, but it'll be dated for that day. Those God's coins, 70 God's coins, have 20 years from that date to use it or lose it. Now, right now, the God's coin is worth what you paid for it. $71. $70 worth $70. I haven't lost. I earned 70 God's coin as well. 2 God's coins are being issued at the same time because that receipt, I know how much income I have. That's $70 in my account, and you got $70. Now, I said you have between now and November the 16th on the day after our national election week for president, that I'm hesitating to say what I'm saying, and God's got to get on board with me. I just lost all track, but I'm going to keep this up. On November the 16th, then the gloves come off for everybody in America. I will not. That God's coin will cost everybody $50,000. $50,000. Now, if you already have God's coin, that means you're worth $50,000 times how many, whatever amount of God's coins that you have already got. You'll be a millionaire, billionaire. You'll have enough money to set you up for life and do anything you want to do the rest of your life, whichever you do in the next couple of months, until November. If you're an American, if you're listening to me. So pay attention for the next couple of months with me. I'll be making podcasts, and the numbers will be coming out. 9 days I get the website, the web store going. I'm only a little bit away from getting it started because of the two-step verification. It's too complicated. It's useless. And every day when some Einstein comes up with something even harder to make it more ridiculous, or they streamline their policy and get rid of very good working programs and streamline it for the money's sake. Oh, that's aggravating. And I had better. I was using better software back in the days of Netscape. Back in the days of Excel. I wish I could do what the programs I had back then. They were almost unlimited to what you could do. The internet, there's an interesting thing on the internet tells you, how it all started. And how the wars that went between Netscape and Microsoft and Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, and it was like very interesting. It's not that old. The internet will get better. But today, it's almost as bad as it's ever going to get. It's filled with too much garbage. Way too much garbage. Our sources are the worst they've ever been. They're overloaded with a lot of junk. People trying to sell things. People desperate to make money. Internet. In the future, even hackers won't be hackers. Murderers won't be murderers. Criminals won't be criminals. It's just the whole world is going to be changing. Starting now. God's going to create heaven on earth. He's already started. But he's going, from this day to today, I'm making this everybody to realize how it's going to do, how it works, and how it's, and what, you'll learn more. I'll be better equipped. And this last video I made yesterday was 2 hours and 21 minutes long, but it tells you. It tells you my life. It's how do you say, a living thing that is immortality. We're all immortal already, but books and these videos last forever. Going after 2 Timothy 3:16. Everybody knows. All people want to read one thing. That's John 3:16, where it shows everybody they're saved. just by believing, which is very correct. To believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and you'll be saved. That salvation is a word that's been taken out of context too. Everybody is immortal, but who's going to be saved from going through hell or ending up in hell? I mentioned already. Right now, you know who's going through hell? Billy Graham, Charles Stanley, and Amy McPherson back in the 20s and 30s. The guy that went to jail for PTL Ministries, Praise the Lord Ministries. Forgot it. His whatever his name was, and Tammy was his wife. What I'm saying is, these people are going to go through hell because they weren't heroes. They actually are responsible for putting, how do you say, more for misadvising, not understanding God, have no concept of God. They have no concept of hell. They have no concept of heaven. But heaven and hell, unborn in God, there won't be any agnostics anymore because they're a physical thing. They're not a belief. We're not talking about theology here. We're talking about reality. The reality is you're breathing. You're breathing. You're moving. You're blinking your eyes. You're fidgeting. You just, and I'm talking. You do the same thing. You might be sleepy, especially most of you are probably sleeping right now because it's 12:30 in the morning. I'm talking because this is a good time to talk when it's peaceful. Nobody can interfere with it. Now, because this is the beginning of a new strategy that God just gave me. This from this month, next month I'll be in another country. I'll be flying to another country by the end of the month. I don't know which country I'll be flying to, but I'll stay there for 30 days. I could fly to one country, or I could revisit a country every month, 30 days. I have by doing this, I know where I don't know where I'll be staying, but it's a nomadic life. Because I said I'm not a Christian anymore, I'm a Bedouin. I know that God is with me, living in me. That's the difference between the Bedouin religion. I'm also a nomad. Jesus said, I don't have a place to sleep or lay my head every day. You know? And that's what the Bedouins do. They don't. They live in tents, but every day they live a nomadic life. They don't have a place to stay, so to speak. Many Bedouins own homes. Most Bedouins, they have a lot of own real estate. They own land and they make a lot of money. But it allows them to live their nomadic lifestyle. So they live on the road, basically. They always carry their tents, their pillows, their blankets, this stuff, with them wherever they go in the Bedouin lifestyle. Now, one archaeologist that I met from England, he asked me, "Is any American does American have Bedouin? American Bedouin?" That's not really. I mean, we have camels, but Bedouins live in a nomadic lifestyle, pitching tents and standing on camels. No, we really don't have that. We don't have that at all. No other country can actually claim that, except for the countries usually in this countries like Egypt and all the surrounding countries, Arab countries, where they're merchants. They're merchants, exactly what I am. I am a traveling merchant selling God, selling God for God. This is God's ministry. He's the owner, as far as I'm the owner of the ministry on earth, but God's basically He's the head in charge. I travel for God. When I go someplace like when I saw Petra and went there on a donkey, for God's sake, you know, this is crazy when you think about it. It was some of the stuff that's never been said by me before or realized, and I re-realized something. You know, when I say for God's sake, I went to see Petra on a donkey. I get the pictures on my website to keep up with. I'm a busy man, and I'm busy for a reason. Because God made me God's messenger. He gave me God's message. And what is God's message? Well, I could write it like I already have my original book. I could add to it and keep on with name, but this is a whole lot nicer and easier. Just sit here in a chair and just talk and tell you what's going on. My podcasts will get shorter and shorter every day. What's in these podcasts is my prayers because it's telling you what I plan to do with God every day. Tell you my hopes and my aspirations and what God wants and what we're going to do. You notice when I say we're going to do, that means God and me. Capitalize that. Anytime you use God's name, and I don't care if you put in the S for God's. You're not talking about more than one God. You're talking about God's, what God wants. You're going wherever God wants. Take God, take your family, take your unborn. Now you don't. You're taking. It's a better way to phrase it. When you go anywhere, you're taking God, your family, all you living or dead, with you, and you're taking your unborn children and all the unborn children in your bloodline. Everybody's going with you. The sooner you guys realize it, the sooner you guys understand what heaven's all about. They coexist together. This is reality. This is not no science fiction or anything like that. This is reality. You got physically, you're carrying your living family, both living and dead, within yourself. That's heaven. In your body, heaven's with you. When you die, you immediately the switch just gets flipped. Boom, boom. When God exits you, it's like flipping the switch on a light. Boom, turning off the lights. But then I showed you before the bullet didn't hit your head, or before you reach the end of the fall. It's not good. It's just immediately you're going to be seeing all the people in your family, your whole bloodline, from the past to the present, and they'll be seeing the future, your future. The future's the unborn. They can see the unborn. Many of your family members spend their day playing with the unborn, just like you did when you was playing in a mud puddle, just like little girls did when they were playing with doll babies, and just like little boys swinging a stick, playing like they're pirates or whatever, swinging a sword. I told you everybody's going to be retraining to shoot. Everybody will be retrained to shoot a weapon, but they have to retrain to shoot for the hands and feet, and they're going to train to be paramedics. Basically, everybody in the world that's 18 years old and over are trained in those two areas. They'll have their phone, they'll be on call for the police departments, the fire departments, the ambulance services, the National Guard. People will be far too busy because I'm going to be your employer. I'm the one that's going to pay you God's coin the rest of your life. That's I'll be paying everybody for the rest of their life, but for the ones they'll be serving in God's services are going to be from the years at 18 years old to 40. They'll be actively working, inventing, and everything that they create. They're going for learning. They're also learning experience. When they're going to the classes, I said they'd be required to go to school, even back to kindergarten. They got 12 years of school. Remember, the next 16 years, I'm going to make. We'll say that the next 16. In the next 16 years, everybody will be speaking 7 different languages. So that we won't have to go through translators. You'll go through kindergarten. You'll go through the 12th grade. I'm just thinking about it. You probably go for the next 16 years, just like I am. For the next 16 years, every year, you will know 7 different languages, and you'll go through 16 years of education. You'll have doctorates, PhDs, and whatever you do. Automatically, if you just do what you're told. This is called God's will. Because you're with God and you become His hands, His feet, and mouth, and you're now in God's services and you're getting paid by God's coin. I think now the world realizes that God is alive and what they can expect when they die. You'll be so busy, you can't spend as much money as you could ever get. You're never going to have to pay for employees. You just create the jobs. You get the idea. You build the building, build the facilities. You don't even have to rely on getting people to help you with your business. No longer would they have to have people, investors, sharing with you to own your own business. Why? Because God's giving you everybody the money to do that. When I saw Mahi, there's Muhammad, and his brother Mono. They almost look exactly like the older brother Mono. They're both anyway. These people I met. Their ambition is to own and Mahi. There's Muhammad, the brother of Mono, and Mahi. Both are graduates. So one's graduating. Who graduated last month. He lives in Cairo, Egypt. His hopes and dreams is to create a internet, to have a internet facilities in every place. Many places in Cairo, I think, where people can go and they go to a room or a place like they have in the airports, where everybody can plug into the internet. The internet's free. Everything's there. But if they build something, they're building, it has to be a building with a tall building. Rent one or lease one or build one. Get things started, and you build it with your money. That facility, it'd be a 5-story building. You build that 5-story building, and remember, you're in, say, in Cairo. The first building you build it. Could be a 3-story building or a 5-story building with different floors and different rooms, chat rooms, and things, where people can come to do their internet work. Let's not go into the library, but now we're going to have at least 5G. But they're going to try to advance that to, if I'm helping them and giving them the idea, which I took the idea, already told them about it. There's no reason if you can have 5G, you can have 10G. The problem was with 5G, we were scared that the power of 5G, it made people sick, it made cows sick. These microwaves that are out there, they're dangerous. They can be very dangerous. 5G it can cause a lot of problems. It hasn't created any problems, but these things have to. It can't just keep on. I was in the nuclear industry for so many years, and when I was in the cab of a crane on the overhead, on certain lifts, when you pull the reactor out, everything done with the reactors underwater, and our cables and hooks hook up the things underwater and move them, but they can't come out the water because of what they call the shine. The shine is a bunch are rays that come out the water, and when those if one of those rays hits you, you'll pick up so much dose. I mean, you could be dead by getting hit by one of those rays. Instant, or you can get so many ribs that you're not going to live long. So it says that water is a shield. Lead is a shield for radiation. What is the same thing with 5G? 5G, if you get it going shooting around everywhere, you get laser microwaves going everywhere. Radio, it's like radio waves. Radio waves are not harmful to us because they flow through us. They're not enough power. Microwaves are different. Now you're getting. They potentially they can hurt you. Radioactive waves, radiation waves, can be very, very dangerous. It only needs to be contained. Now, what I guess I'm saying is that they build a building and they can put 10G on top of that building that's located there high enough that everything's avoided when that 10G is there. It won't affect people as long as it's a little bit off the ground. It'll live certain levels. So 10G won't hurt nobody. The higher the better off the ground. But at least a 5-story building. I mean, if you put on top of a 5-story building, you can put a very tall antennas and things like that on top of it and get it even further off the ground. There's going to be a way that you can keep the distance to harmful rays that you're using, so everybody can have the fastest internet possible. Now we're going to have devices that we have to invent are translators, that immediate translators. I mean, he wants to work on that. He knows right now how many bits, megabytes per second and things can be transferred in voice. How long does it take? Right now, it'll take time between for the device to take your words and my words. It won't be instantaneous. It'll be a couple seconds difference between you and them. If I speak to somebody in Chinese or Arabic, for me to speak to somebody in Arabic, just naturally, you got a 2 second delay. That's with today's technology. That's not that far from instantaneous technology, where you wear a device that can translate it immediately. We haven't got to that yet. We're at only at a certain level, but that's going to get better. It's because if you can invent 5G, you can invent 10G, but you can't just put 10G all over the world. It could be very dangerous. When they had big power lines carried more power underneath power lines, the animals, the cows and things that were living underneath those power lines, it changed them physically. And it caused problems. They found this out. They discovered that even these big power lines, the effects of just electricity running through those power lines, the voltage, affected people. We're going to get smarter and smarter, just like this broadcast is getting better and better. It's starting out here. But these are immortal. This is a living biography. It's better than writing, because there'll be less mistakes, and not so much time editing. For my children, my grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren, my great-great-great-grandchildren, my books are immortal. My books are one way of thought. It's like reality. There's a billion different ways you can go. When we stop in history and mark down a certain date, that can never be repeated. Well, we could try to reenact or relive the past, but that was only one reality. When Paul Revere got on a horse and rode the thing, that was the reality of that day, that time, a certain event. This is broadcast here is reality too. Now, guess what I'm saying is that just go back to the very beginning when I'm talking about the books. Somebody gives me $70 for a book. I don't keep the money. It goes through the web store. It automatically gives you a receipt with 70 God's ones. I know how much you have. You just automatically just open an account. Whichever, so I know how many God's coins you have. Ultimately, my web store, by the receipts, they tell me total amount of sales from you a year and how many God's coins you earn by how much month, by every transaction by date. And I know which God's coins are going to drop off at the end of 20 years. So you're going to accumulate your wealth at one time, the very beginning of your life. Everybody will. How long does it take to build heaven on earth? Before 2024 is over. That's how fast you guys got to understand. There's no choice about that matter. When you understand how this works, you're going to realize, like, oh, I'm almost out of time. I run out of time because I missed it. Take whatever you got and spend it. As soon as you get this God's coin, spend it. And do it while you got it, because when God's coin gets out there, the value dollars of every country's currencies is going to go down. The value of everybody, because you're in competition now. Everybody's current currency in the world, gold, silver, any commodities, everything in the world is going to lose because their competitor is everybody in this world. Bitcoin can never reach that. Like I said, they struggle to get to 20 million people now. You listen to me right now. You're looking at an investor. Your gold could become worthless someday. Why? Because what happens as soon as you got competition, when money goes, gold's not worth as much money because money's useless. You got gold. Now, who wants to carry around that weight? Gold's a heavy thing. I don't know if it's heavier than lead or almost as heavy. The idea is gold is gold. God's coin will be minted one day. I have pictures of it that I want to. I'll give them the picture of the big G on a coin for God's coin. I'll make 1 ounce gold pieces. And each gold piece, if I have them out this year, will cost everybody. It's a 1 ounce gold piece. Right now, if I had the God's coin today that was minted in gold, 24 karat gold, it would be around $55,000. That's a safe number piece. That's the cost of gold, the gold plus how much the God's coin's worth. God's coin's gonna be worth $50,000. That's what I'm requiring Americans to spend. Meaning the Americans have just between now and November to get fully invested in God's coin, or get whatever you can right now, and only through this website can you get it. We're not going to putting this on the market for the whole world. Not to buy to compete with. I'm not in competition with anybody. Got to go through my web store. When do you learn that? If you missed a chance and you don't go to my web store, say I didn't know it existed. Well, now you know it exists. If you ignore it, that people are trading in everything they have for God's coin. Americans have to do are limited to November the 16th. Then their money source is going to start falling. If you have a dollar, whatever it's at, it's the value of it's going to be dropping $50,000 for every second. Every second. Because when I started selling it in November the 16th, Jeff Bezos, you better not have no money, not in dollars. You're gonna lose $50,000 per second every time a God's coin is issued. Bill Gates, Donald Trump, and I told you what countries you guys are going to be in charge of. Bill Gates will be in charge of the Jordan and Palestine's dinar. Your $186 billion is going to be invested in the dinar, and only the dinar. The total investments, everything you own, will be invested in the dinar. $186 billion. Where it's safe. Donald Trump, you're going to be a quintrillionaire. That's got, see, I think it's 12 zeros or 15 zeros. It's e to the 12th power. Okay? So the currency thing will be you'll be a quintrillionaire. Anyway. But your country that you have your money, your wealth in, will be in Burundian francs. That's why. So you're gonna, because you're gonna have your $8 billion, which you don't even have $8 billion yet. You're working on it. You're about 7.8, 7.5 or something like that. But you're gonna your net worth is gonna be in Burundi, because Burundi is gonna be the wealthiest country in the world, or soon to be. Every country's currency is going to change after November, because now the world's in competition with the dollar. And what's happening with the dollar? The dollar's gone out, and it's being replaced by God's coin. So now there's this new standard. It's God's coin against every country's currency. First currency to show up is the Jordan dinar. As everybody gets, instead of everybody collapsing and there being a recession and a depression and everything, and it's opposite. It's going to lift every country out of poverty, from poverty to being rich, billionaires, millionaires, able to travel wherever you want, party as hard as you want, invent and create businesses, many as you want, free labor, free healthcare, free education, free electricity, free road service, free trash pickup, free everything. Everybody in your country will be working for God and receiving God's coin as wages. So everybody will be free labor that's doing already what they're doing. They want to transfer jobs, change jobs, fine, just do it. God goes with you, remember? You don't go to anywhere to find God. You don't go to church to find God. You don't go. God's always with you. So, how many people have seen their own heart? God's being hysterical now. This is how many people have seen their own butts? They haven't. Can't even see your own back. Everybody, a lot of people have seen my butt, and a lot of people, everybody can see my back. But I haven't seen it. But I know it's there. I can feel it, and I can feel God. You can. Some of you can. The majority of you can't. The majority of you are numb to even knowing anything about God, thinking about it. Just like you're breathing, and you don't even know the reason you're breathing. You can't even talk about it because you don't understand it. Life is life. It's like electricity. And it's like being a thing, but life is life. It's God. This phenomenon of God it's not a concept, it's not a theory. It's life. You're able to live. The concept that you have your family within you, when we discovered DNA, all the hints of that were trying to be told about by David. David said, God, you search me and you know me. You know my uprising, my down sitting. You know everything about me. You know my never thoughts. You know the next word out my own mouth. You, where can I hide from the Lord? Going to take the wings of the morning, went to the farthest parts of the sea. You're going to be, God's going to be there. If I make my bed in hell, God's going to be there. He knew you, meaning He was there. He's involved. When your mother and father made you in secret, created you in secret, He made that happen. He put you together, your mother and father together. He crushed that. So is that a theory or is that a fact? It's a fact. Ask your parents where they come from. You'll find out that there's the word coincidence covers a huge part of what we don't understand. We all have a manipulated lives, and we're being manipulated by God and our family. Encouraged to build stuff, encouraged to go certain directions, do things because they have influenced our life. They are still, and they're not, and they are still influencing us. They have something to say to us about it. You don't get up in the morning with a great thought that just come out of nowhere. There's a lot of people behind that great thought. God and everybody in your family. The thought of creating heaven on earth came from the God that's in me. He's learned what I've learned. I wasted 5 years of my life talking to nobody, not selling my books, and because we have free will, or we have free will. We took free will. We robbed that of God. It's always should have been God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. That prayer in itself tells you everything. It tells you there's a living beings inside your DNA that have a say of what you do. Their influence. God has a say in what you can do as an influence. But that's asking you to do the will of God as they are in heaven. As they are in their DNA, they have no choice but to abide by God's saying. They can't fight each other. So they were saying, do God's will, not your own will. Don't do what you want in heaven. Now, all my life, I've been having arguments with God at different times. So like I said, I love my brothers, my sisters, and my father, but there's times when we can hate each other. I hated my father, I hated my mother, or my brother, or my sister at one time or another, but we're always figured it out. And then we're a week later, a day later, moments later, we were back together as a family. We were loving each other. But life is reality. Now, my reality, I'm trying to make this shorter. Is the next 192 days, I said, next 9 days, my web store goes up. You see how fast I'm going to grow because I'm telling everybody you have from now to November the 16th to take every asset you own and convert it into God's coin. Accumulate God's coin, dollar for dollar. You accumulate in God's coin, dollar for dollar. Everybody in America does that. There's no problem. But even as I speak, I won't take Jeff Bezos' money through my ministry. I won't take Donald Trump's money through my ministry. I won't take Satoshi's Nakamoto through my ministry. I won't take Donald Trump's money through my ministry. I specifically want them to go to the country through the countries that I told them about to get it out of America. I want them to buy, to put their money. I want uh, Bill Gates to go to Jordan and put everything he has in Jordanian dinars. As soon as I accumulate any money, I don't care if it's even $70 for that book. It's that money. It doesn't stay. It's divided between how many people. If it's just you and me, if it's just starting, then that means that you got 70 God's coins. I got 70 God's coins. I haven't lost anything, and you gained whatever you bought plus 70 uh, 70 God's coin, with the potential of being worth $50,000 a week a piece, and so that whatever that amounts to, what brain wants to get to a phone, a calculator, and that it's not time. But you calculate it yourself. We'll take your 70 and multiply it to how many days before November the 16th, and multiply that from the time you buy it to what's time's left. Because as soon as it's reached $50,000, 500,000, $50,000 a piece, everybody's money goes down. The value. I already told these four people where their money's going to be going. Jeff Bezos, Satoshi. I already said Donald Trump's going to be taking the country of Burundi and get the Burundian franc. The Burundian franc will be for right now. It's 5,000. It's 5,000 Burundian francs to the dollar. So it's almost like he's saying, "I'm giving you because the United States, I'm giving them 10 God's coins. Burundians 10 God's coins per Burundian franc. 10 God's coins per Burundian franc they get. So they're going to have more God's coins because they get 10 God's coins per Burundian franc. That's every newborn child to the oldest person is going to get God's coin just for going to the website. And as soon as they go to the website, they automatically have an account. As soon as they put their name in, the names of their accounts and stuff like that, they're enrolled. They're already enrolled through my website. They're going to have to go through their bank to do it. Because when they go to the bank to open up a God's Coin account between my website and their thing, then they're going to be with their bank. Their bank's going to know ahead of time to have a phone company there to hand every 18-year-old in that household a Burundian franc. You understand where I'm going? I'm going to go ahead and stop this broadcast today because I've said enough. But you see how busy I am. And see where I'm going. Every day you'll learn more and understand more. And the conditions they will improve. I'm going to end the program now. I got to go. Okay, I'm back. I had to take care of business, if you know what I mean. Okay, now I'm back, uh, and instead of making this short, so I'm not going to talk much longer. You understand the idea? This next month, I'll be going to another country, but this time I'm going to a country with a couple things I didn't have before. I know better and know more about what God wants out of me now. I understand now. It's taken me a long time to figure out the whole process, put the puzzle together of what God wants me to do in my life. And so whatever. Now, so next month I'll be going to another country and I'll go there with an income, better idea of what I'm supposed to be doing. What are the people I meet, who I see, and things like that? They are who God wants to see. Everybody's special. I'm not special. You are not special. You're listening to me. You're listening to me right now. When you see me personally, or you get to talk to me, or I show up and see you, that means you're the one that's special. Because I'm the one that you're supposed to get the message. Who I'm talking to. So you understand what I'm saying? I'm not the one that's special. I'm not the mark. I don't want it to be. I am only the messenger and taking God to everybody God wants to see and talk to. And when I go to see you, and I go to the country, and those people I see, okay, they are the ones God wants to see. Of course, you can come and see God too. The meeting thing. You start gathering and go being over places where I'm going to be. Everything's possible. And the fact that you're going to start being rich the moment that you start talking to me. The first moment that you get just a simple 2 books that cost $70. I didn't even look it up while it's gone, but that $70, 70 God's coins, times $50,000 a piece. That's how much money you're going to have immediately available to you. Why? Because I have just as much available to me. After November, but it's got to be wait till November the 16th. Until then, it's just worth $70. Meaning that if you want your money back, I guess I could just give you your 10 God's coins back to you, and I'm not going to lose anything in the transaction. If you wanted to return the books or say you just like the book, go ahead and keep the books, but I'll send your money back. So it's going to have 100% guarantee. All your money is God's coins. I have 100% guarantee because I've already matched it. If you want to get it back immediately, you get it back. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to grow. That 70 God's coin amount is going to grow from being worth $70 to whatever $70 times 50,000 a piece. And you have the only choice you have is to either make the transactions now and get everything you got or worth in switch from through God's coin. You're not losing a thing. And like I said, I've issued you I might have issued you 250,000 God's coins. You get it back anytime you want. But if you don't, every second, every second you don't inject these Bill Gates, they would normally be losing $50,000 per second every time somebody bought that book. They'd be losing the value of 70 God's coins being thrown away out there in the air every second. They can't compete with that. It's like taking dollars, $50,000 being thrown away every time somebody spends a God coin. Because people are throwing it, basically, if there was the same way, if somebody was throwing it out the window and throwing it in the trash, how much is their money going to be worth anything? No, it's be worth nothing very shortly. Bitcoin too. Gold, silver, any commodity you think is precious. Nothing's more precious than life. And life is God. Now, interesting enough, I was going to bring this up. But so like 4 days ago, I was so depressed and didn't know where I was going. I said, if I could get that pill, if that pill was available to me right now, I would taking it. I'd be taking it because I didn't know the direction I was going, and I'm not going to live without God. I don't want to live without God. So I would take that pill. If I didn't have any hope, and I didn't, just going to go back to living a normal life, I'd just as soon take the pill and die in my sleep. Now, this pill's already been made. That doctor I told you in Cairo, he has a specific name for it. Right now, it's with the Food and Drug Administration's approval. Now, they'll give its approval, but it means you can still get it. People put poison on the shelf. They put poisons on the shelf and things like that. For any animal, you can kill yourself any way you want by many numbers of means. They nature by death. May cause death. Dangerous, poison side. The Food and Drug Administration has to give the approval for this thing to be mass produced in the United States, this pill. And when it's produced in the United States and given a thing, it'll have its warning label, will cause death within so much things, right? But supposedly this pill would have no side effects, like pain. Because you're going to die in your sleep. That's the first thing it would cause is sleep. It'll knock you out, and then your body shuts down its organs. Basically, you're poisoning yourself, and that's how you're going to die. This makes it you as pre-warned, and you know what you're doing. You get your last will and testament made out, and you're ready to move on. That was only 4 days ago. I was ready and willing to take that pill because I'm not going to live without God. And God, I had hope, but then God gave me the brainstorm. She said, "Joe, come on, this is over. When you get in the web store, then you tell them this is a more precise message than the first one because it's getting more precise and more precise each moment. In 9 days, we'll know. 9 days from now, we'll know if I had gotten through to anybody. All I need to do is get to one person to buy a set of books. either through the website or I go meet somebody personally. I call up one of my friends to get this thing started. Like I said, they get 70 God's coin when they buy the first 2 books, the Torchmaster and Michael 2. And every time they get, when they see what they're accumulating the God's coin, and God's coin is going to be worth 50,000 a piece, they're going to say, "Whoa! I got to get as much as I can, take everything I own, and liquidate it, and don't have to buy any. You buy everything I have before you donate, but you're going to actually donate when the store hasn't got nothing else to sell that you don't already have, and you'll be donating it. But I don't want your house. I don't want your car. I don't want anything you got. It's protected. That's it. I'm not gonna. I don't even want the papers to it. It still belongs to you. Everything belongs to you. Even if you take all your money and you get a loan, you have the money to pay off the loan as soon as the second that you buy it, after November the 16th. Because you're going to have between, instead of it being worth $1, it's worth $50,000 per God's coin. Does that make sense? Then immediately your car's paid for, your house is paid for, everything's paid for. You have no more bills. That's how it's going to work. This is going to, then you can create your own piece of heaven on earth. Then you can do. You got to spend. You got to party. You got to travel first class, luxury. Travel like you're the Queen of England or the King of England. The King or the Queen or President. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be traveling any way you want to go. You can buy your own plane. You can buy your own helicopter. You can buy your own jet. You can do anything you please when you get that kind of money. But the first thing you're going to do is just figure out where you want to live and what you want to do the rest of your life. And when you find that place, wherever you and your wife go and decide to go and be, you're going to build whatever the best of everything. You're going to build your dream. And you have the money to do it. You're going to build your dream home, where you want to live. And you're going to create your businesses. Whether you have a brick and mortar building around you, like a McDonald's, or whether you have a virtual building on a computer. Whatever you're doing, you're going to be investing as much as you can, and you'll be having business, accumulating those businesses. Now, you understand, every time you do that, you spend a God's coin. I have the same thing. The value increases. I have the same capability. Your business doesn't belong to me, it belongs to you. But I had the same thing to be building, the same amount of businesses. I got ideas. And I'm going to tell you, my ideas are based on God. God gives me the ideas. So He already given me the ideas. I'm going to transform the little town that I lived in Tampico, South Carolina. And own my 2 homes, but starting with the first home, so we were done all over and be done very quickly. Very quickly. By professionals, flown in from other countries, other states or other countries. I know how they work and I know what they do. The best of the best. I'll be able to afford it. To do my 2 little homes. I want to buy the theater, the old theater that's shut down. The town owns it right now. They're trying to make it indoor. It used to be the old theater, and restore it back to what it is. But it's also going to be a brewery, not not so much for alcoholic beverages. It will make beer. It'll brew beer and it'll brew uh, cream sodas, root beers, orange sodas, things like that in the old-fashioned way. Everything they have will have a certain will it'd be as close to zero in the alcohol content, but like in the old days they had what they called sarsaparilla, more like a root beer. In the old days, they didn't have the ability or the smarts to refine everything into to the beer is the point between it starting to ferment, the fermenting things, where it's just the heating difference between hard liquor and making a beer. Beer is just a step before where you have the then as you feed it yeast, it becomes bitter. You have to add sweetener. You have to keep something more alive, but the stage is the difference between the sugar and these enzymes eating sugar. The enzymes, the yeast that changes the yeast to alcohol. They eat sugar, and they're whatever creates alcohol. Okay, getting off that it's unnecessary stuff to talk about. But here, you got the idea of what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to be doing it. So it starts with me. All I need to do is sell one set of books a day to somebody, and I have an income of $70 a day. $70 a day. As soon as they hand me the money, okay. But I have to do it through the website. I can't because the website has to keep a track of the time, the moment, the second that the transactions made. Because in 20 years, those God's coins will be useless. Because the receipt's going to give you, okay, you awarded 70 God's coins. I have tracked of that, and I'll give it to you every. The website my website will give you the results every year, how many God's coin you earn, and what they all are dated. So it goes through my website. Your banks will be keeping track of it as well. My site it's the first tracking device. Your bank will be the second. When it's specifically will have that transaction dated, recorded, and everything. With your bank be responsible to say how many because in order for you to pay me, whatever credit card or whatever way you did, it's going to be that recorded with your bank too. So your bank will be able to tell you how much earmarked for God's coin I spent with my ministry. You just look at the end. How much I give to this ministry, either in purchase or donation. How much I give to this ministry? Well, that's you'll know how many God's coins you earn. The United States, I told you after November, you won't be able to get a God's coin until you give me $50,000. I'm not putting it on the market with the thing. It's not going to work that way. Because the idea is I don't have to do it that way. I'm in control, complete control. I'm not losing control. Nobody owns shares in my business or what I'm doing. I'm the sole proprietor, and it's going to be that way. I have a treasurer. That's through the banks at my website, web store. Everything's transmitted between them. My web store. It's totally responsible. That all goes through the Bank of America in the thing. Bank of America has a potential of 9,000 or 9 billion customers or more. If you just call it, just round off to 10 billion people in this world. I'll be going to 192 countries starting this next month. In August, I'll be in another country. And I only have to get one a day to have an extra income of 7. You only got to do the same thing for an extra income as mine. Been set $100 or $70 by donating $70. But that $70 is going to be multiplied again to 70 God's coins times $50,000 in November. You can get it right back immediately. I can give you all your money back the next day, or just anytime you want. It's not the point, because the people that get ask for the refunds, you're covered. You're 100% covered if you want to return it anytime you want. Because I have a duplicate God's coin issued to me. I had the 7 duplicates to me. But also how I'm going to pay my salary to everybody, the 18-year-olds to 40-year-olds that are working in God's services that are working for free on an 8-hour day. I'm paying them an 8-hour day. That's 2-hour travel time too. They'll work 4 hours at the regular job, not 8. Somebody else will be there to take your place. You'll have a co-worker that'll be there responsible for the next 4 hours of your shift. You work a 4-hour shift at the store doing what you're doing or whatever you're doing. Then you'll have somebody else will take over for the other half of the day. And when they take over the job for the other half of the day, you will be going to kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, whichever year you've gone through already. You'll learn or relearn you'll learn everything you should have learned the first time, or you'll be relearning. But you're going to spend that much time. You can't get out of class. You'll have to spend that much time before you're going to be advanced to the next grade. Okay. So for the next 16 years, not 12 years, but the next 16 years of your life, you'll be going to school, and you will be speaking fluent. At the time you've gone through the 4 years of 4th grade, kindergarten to the 4th grade, you'll be speaking fluent in Chinese, Arabic, English, French, Spanish, whatever, those other Greek. You see what I'm saying? You're going to be fluent in 7 languages. I'll decide which languages those be. One of them was Turkish, because I'm going back to the original languages. There were 7 that started at the Tower of Babel. 7 languages were created. We know Arabic was one. We know Hebrew was another. We know that Persian was another. We know that Turkish was another. But instead of Turkey, everybody learned Turkey. You're going to learn Chinese, because that's where the Chinese language came from. Turks, Magog, the land of Magog, Russia. Russian and Chinese covered those 2 languages. Russian, Chinese, Korean, whatever. I'll choose the languages. But I don't have to figure this out now, and I'm not supposed to figure it out. God will tell me what those languages will be, but God simply told me they'll be back to the 7 original languages, not the origin, only the origins of the 7 languages. Okay. The ones that are most important to the world today. They won't be the original languages that was spoken at the Tower of Babel. There's over 8,000, 8,500 different languages spoken in this world today. How many people can keep up with that? So that's what I'm saying. But we're going to limit it down to everybody who speaks the seven languages. And English is definitely going to be one of them. It's got to be. Arabic is another. Arabic covers a big territory. It covers a lot of languages. Africa. Oh, let me get back to what is very important. What I said. When I told you I left the Donald Trump with Grundy. And the next one that's going to get it, Satoshi Nakamoto. You listen to this. He specifically, I won't let him invest in anything. I won't give him dollar for dollar of anything. Right? He changed in. I won't allow him to do that. He's got the only thing he's going to deal with is Congo, the Congolese franc, and he'll be just as rich, or richer than Donald Trump. There won't be no, they won't be richer than Donald Trump because remember, Burundi's going to get 10 God's coins, $50,000. They went from there's a $5,000 difference between Burundians now and the dollar bill. They got to come up with 5,000 Burundian francs. There's the same difference between the Congolese, but the Congolese are not going to get 10 God's coin per Burundi. They're going to get one God's coin. They're going to get the one God's coin difference. Why? Because, or how many God's coin God decides to give Satoshi. It could be 3. It could be 5. Half. So, the Satoshi, you're going to have all your $200 billion God's coins, whatever, is going to be invested in one country. You're going to be if you're not a quintrillionaire, you're going to be at least a quadrillionaire. Leaving the last country is Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos will have the rest of Africa. How long will it take everybody in Africa to get to start cashing in through my website? Whatever they have. But they're going to do it through Jeff Bezos. The website will be the same kind of website. Jeff Bezos is going to. It's going to be for God's Living Ministry, but it's going to be. They'll have a different web store, and it'll be strictly for their country. And it's the only place that for Jeff Bezos can go through. And it's going to be for all of Africa. How long is it going to take every African to open up a website and start getting God's coin? How many God's coins? And it's, at the same time, when they go in the store to get the 2 books or whatever like that, at the same time, the same thing happens to them. They're going to be instant millionaires, billionaires. Instant. And so the families are going to be relocating, choosing where they want to live. There's going to be so many empty buildings, torn down buildings. But guess what? Guess who's going to clean that mess up? People that work for me. Yeah, it's going to be done right now, too, by the people that work for me. Brand new equipment, brand new things. Yeah, get there, clean. Come on, people, we got a mess to clean up. Got building to tear down. We're going to put it back to change the landscape. When you leave your home to build another, boom. Whether you still live in that same country or thing, but you definitely don't have to work anymore because you're working for me, and your job's changed to whatever you want to do. You want to end up working for yourself and working for God. You and God are the same. Same. God lives in you. So you're working for God. You're working for yourself. You're working for God. You become the hands and feet and mouth of God. These are heavy thoughts. Every broadcast is different. Says it's the thing, but it's the way the world's going to be. And it gets more clear and clear that God's popping the strings of everything I used to think I had to have. I used to think I had to have editors. I need to have helpers. I need to have a person behind the camera. I need to have a studio. I need to have a place. Well, it's working out pretty good. God's improving on that every time. He keeps the strings from being attached to me, or I'm pretty much do my own thing. But I'm really not doing my own thing. I'm doing what God wants to do. I'm not saying I'm the one that's. But this is the way my example of my life is the example of what you're supposed to be doing. God's will. God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. When you realize that, everything you created is by God's will. Your work is God's business. Whatever you create is God's business. You're now doing everything for God. You're working for God because you got the business. You're going to get free employees. Whenever you create any thought, anything, I mean, you can buy a bicycle or build a bicycle shop. I mean, that's what God's destroying. That's what everything I'm saying has to do with God. Because God, I try not to think too much on everything. I'm having to keep it with God. So sometimes you see me pause. It's not because I'm trying to think of my next job. I'm listening to God as He talks to me. Soon someday, like the translators can get better, and it's going to be like there won't be seconds between us. But it should be better when everybody can speak the languages they want to speak to, at least the 7 languages. Once you get past like the 4th grade, you should become pretty fluent. And by the time you got through high school, you should be able to read, write, and have proper, how to put everything in exact writing as an 8th grader, 9th grader, 10th grader, 11th grader. And remember, you're going to keep on going for 16 years. So you're going to end up with a PhD and everything. It's automatically for the next 16 years. Ironically, if you go to school for 16 years at a PhD level, that means that I'm going to be a PhD, you're going to be a PhD, and for the next 16 years, I got to go to 16 to 16 different countries every month. Countries. Yeah. I to reach 192. So it all works out. Yeah, let's see what I'm talking about. I'm going to go for good. It's been a long enough string. These might not be important because tomorrow it's going to be the last performance. Each time I'm putting the latest. This one will be on my website as today's. And you understand what you can look at YouTube anytime to see the podcast before this. This is all together, there's going to be, you know, they're all going to be filed under me, and you can physically see what the changes in me and the changes in my life and the changes in you, the changes of you, and you'll at least that you can pull up any top part of that thing by video and see what is going on during that time. If you know, a week ago, like I said, I'd be willing to take that pill rather than live without God. So God didn't talk to me for a month, you know, or two couple weeks anyway. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to live life without God. I'll kill myself first. But who would want to die now with this much hope? Nobody would take that pill. They want to live forever. And you will be living forever. You live for the next 16 years of your life. You will be reaching your potential in 16 years from the time you buy your first into the first God's coin you had. You're going to be busy all those 16 years working for God, working for yourself, and getting free labor, inventing things, spinning it, building your homes. For the next 16 years, you're going to be working 4 hours a day. You're going to have free electricity, free solar, free health care, free education. And you're actually, and you're going to be making money at the same time. So you're not going to lose nothing. Because your life's about to change. When it changes, every day right now, if you just think about it, if you had a bank account with unlimited funds, what would you be doing? From the time you woke up in the morning to the time, what are you going to be doing if you had unlimited funds? That's what's going to happen. You're going to go buy a new car that day. You're going to go. You got to go buy you brand new clothes for that day, a wardrobe. You're going to have to go. You must eat, so you're going to go You're going to go where you want to go to eat and drink anything that you want to do. You're going to do it as much as you can because you can do anything you want. You're going to go to the spas and get your hair cut, get your manicures, get your everything done. You're going to be doing anything you want to do every day for the rest of your life. Starting just pretty quick. Like I said, the next 9 days. How long is it going to take to turn over the United States from now to November 16? How long is it going to take Bill Gates to take and do the same thing for Jordan and Palestine? It's going to immediately end the war. Money can get those people out of those countries, off the Gaza Strip. Money will immediately get everybody busy buying new cars, buying new homes, building new homes, doing things. They still want to live in the Holy Land? Fine, live where you're going to live, but change the house. Get ready to remodel. Get your contractor and start remodeling your home. Live in historic district if you want. Have them restore the house to thing. Restore everything in your whole thing. Still live where you want to live if it's a historical landmark or if it's a family heirloom. But otherwise, you're going to be moving around. A lot of people are moving around. You're not going to be leaving too much trash behind because my workers are the ones that are going to clean up the mess. As soon as something goes down, somebody's going to be there to clean the mess up. And it's not going to be And that's going to happen all the time, every day. My people will be there, cleaning up the mess. The roads won't be full of holes anymore. They won't be full of trash. The houses won't be built right on top of each other. Like I said, we'll keep what we want and we'll move on. Whether you stay in the same country or not, that's up to you. You'll have the money to move around. The world will finally figure it out. Remember, you got 20 years to spend it or use it or lose it. So in 20 years, you have to use it, lose it. During the 16 of those 20 years, you're going to be learning from kindergarten. How many people can pass the kindergarten again? All you got to lose is learn what a kindergartner needs to know. The numbers, how to count to 10, or through kindergarten. How to learn your alphabet, the ABCs of your language. But you're going to be learning the language of 7 languages. Each day in kindergarten, you're going to speak. You won't be allowed to speak your one language. You have to speak in one of those 7 languages, so you'll understand it. At a kindergartner's level, you're going to know how to write it. No, you're not going to know how to write it. You're going to be able to say the words. No, you're going to learn the words the way they're saying. You understand what the words mean, what you discussed that day. That's what I'm talking about. From kindergarten age up, the world's going to be used to talking to each other, or we can talk to each other. This, your piece of heaven is fixing to start very fast, and my piece of heaven is going to start before the month's out. I already know what I got to do. I got to sell 2 books a day to somebody, either on the website or getting somebody, but they'll still do it through the website. But just get somebody to see somebody personally. That gives me an income of $70 a day to travel with. If I get 10 people in one day, that means that I'm either got more money that day, or I can do more that day. I can do things. I have a contractor working on my house. I could immediately start getting things done. Okay, that's the way it's going to happen with you. We're both alike. We're starting from the ground up. Okay, I'm gonna leave you at that. Thank you.